The final issue of Age of Republic by Jody Houser was all about General Grievous. I've said before that most of these issues have felt like condensed episodes of the Clone Wars, and I mean that in a good way. But this one felt like the perfect companion piece to one of my favorite episodes of the show, Lair of Grievous. The story opens on the planet Levine as Grievous hunts down a Jedi and her Padawan. He discovers there's a mysterious Jedi temple nearby, so he investigates, desecrating ancient statues on his way in. There are traps hidden inside that he has to dodge, which feel a lot like Indiana Jones, but they're also very reminiscent of the kinds of traps Grievous has in his own lair. I think that was an intentional choice because Houser said in an interview that she likes to think of this comic as taking place after Lair of Grievous, stating the Jedi broke into his home, so now he's doing the same to them. I really like that connectivity, but the timeline is currently unknown. But let's get into the actual meat of the story, because there is some interesting stuff going on in the heart of the temple. The general comes across a strange waterfall that he isn't able to physically feel, and I think it gives him a force vision, similar to the ones Luke, Anakin, and Rey have all experienced. It's a nice touch that the force vision doesn't begin until he sticks his head and body into the falls, the parts of him that are still alive. His cybernetic limbs have no connection to the force. I think this opens a lot of questions about the Force and how it works with non-Force sensitive people. My belief is that the ability to use the Force is more about state of mind than it is about bloodlines or anything like that. I think technically anyone can learn to use the Force if they have the right attitude, and Grievous doesn't have that at all. But in the heart of a Jedi temple where he's literally doused with some mysterious force water or energy, sure, I'm fine with that being enough to spark some sort of brief connection to the cosmic force. The vision itself gives us our best look at Grievous before he became a cyborg in his Kaleesh body. I like how unsettled he looks in his own skin. It feels like Force visions very often show people what they fear, and losing what he views as the source of his power seems to be his greatest fear. He hears several voices shaming him for what he's done to himself, claiming he's carved away his connection to the Force. Grievous has always been resentful of the Jedi and their powers. He altered himself so that he could match them in combat, and as this issue reminded us, he is more than capable of killing them. In his mind, power is all that matters, but that's not really what the Force is about, and that's why the voices point out how small he really is. This fits together so well with the Lair of Grievous episode. The message of that story is that people who have power should restrain themselves from using it. Nadar Veb is shown to be falling away from the Jedi teachings. In many ways, he is like Grievous. We see the evolution of Grievous from Kaleesh to cyborg in his quest for more and more power, and no matter what he does, he never really gains the respect of his Sith overlords. He's a tool to them and nothing more. All that power, and what does he have to show for it? Most powerful is he who controls his own power. I don't think that's a lesson Grievous could ever truly learn, and that's why he has the temple destroyed and watches it burn for hours. I thought this was a great issue. I know some people were hoping to learn more about his backstory, but none of the Age of Republic comics have really been about that. They've all been about digging into each character and exploring what makes them tick. Don't get me wrong, I'd really love to explore Grievous's life before the Clone Wars, but I think that deserves at least a 5-issue miniseries. This kind of story is perfect for a one-shot. Jody Houser did a great job on the whole series, and I haven't even mentioned the art for this issue by Luke Ross, who I think is the best artist we've got working in Star Wars comics right now. But that's all I have to say about this final issue. Let me know what you thought of the story in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.